Good morning and welcome to our lifestyle showcase. We are so excited to have so many of you joining us today for this Lakeview Village virtual event. And obviously, you are contemplating a move to senior living, and we have several terrific presenters who are going to help you with that today, at least provide you with some information to help you make some decisions about that. A couple of important notes that we want to share before we begin our presentations. If by chance you have, if for any reason, by chance the live stream on your screen should stop, just hang tight and it will come back momentarily. You know, we've never had a problem, but this is the internet and you never know what's going to happen. So we like to share that with you just in case. So just stay put if that should happen. And then if at any time you should have a question, just type in your question right there on the screen, hit submit so we make sure that we get it, and we will collect those and get those answered for you at the end of today's presentation. All right, here's what we're going to cover today. We are going to look at what life looks and feels like at Lakeview Village. We're going to show you some various floor plans that are offered, talk about those. We're going to see how to really make your new place feel like home once you move in. That's so important. And then you're going to meet some of the residents who are living at Lakeview Village as well. All right, let's see here. I'm going to switch over to turning on some video cameras. So folks, if you want to turn on your video cameras and if you want to turn on your microphones, there everyone is. There we go. I need to do the same thing on mine so they can see my face as well. It says I'm unable to, Billy. Billy's my production assistant. So for some reason, it's not letting my camera show me. I don't know what's going on, but that's okay. We are going to go around the room because I think it would be really nice for us to put a face with the names of those who are speaking today. And it's kind of a Brady Bunch feel that we have going on here. So I think, Stan, let's start with you. If you would tell us how long you've been at Lakeview Village, tell us what is something about that community that you just love?
Good morning. Now, this is Stan Stokes. We moved here about 5 years ago. I actually moved from Tucson and to Kansas City. I grew up here, went off to college, and came back 60 years later was about it. In the intervening period of time, wandered around the world, around the U.S., I should say, various places. But a lot of things we like around here are just the freedom that we have or that we feel here, the security we feel here. And one of our objectives was to be able to travel. And that helps tremendously, and that we know we can just sort of lock the door on the apartment, walk out and go on a trip, which we do on a fairly regular basis, or we have until recently, of course. As far as around here on campus, we have access to everything here. Usually we'll walk most of that, but do have a bus, a shuttle bus that will move us around. We have actually the gardens are real close by here. We got the walking paths. We have got the two lakes, our little Foxtail Lake over here by Southridge where we live, and then the big lake, we call it Fountain Lake, over by North Point. I enjoy walking, do that a good bit. That's sort of my get up and go around. But also we have a pool. I do swim laps over there, enjoy that very much. And it helps tremendously. Have the fitness centers. We actually have the main fitness center over in the main unit.
Sure.
Here in Southridge, we do have our own.
And you
And
know what, Stan? We're going to show them all of that here in just a few
okay,
minutes, okay?
okay,
But yeah,
yeah.
you are an active guy on that campus. That is for sure. Everybody knows that about you for sure. So, Shirley, tell us a little bit about you. How long have you been at Lakeview Village and something you love about that place?
I moved in 11 months ago today in August, and I had bought in to Lakeview. I lived in a villa, which was maintenance free, but I had to maintain the inside of the building. And my refrigerator went out and my air conditioning went out that summer. And I decided it's time to go someplace where I can feel taken care of. My husband had passed away a year before that. So my financial advisor and my sons both advised me that I should move in here. I had looked at Lakeview several times and had selected North Point. North Point. South Ridge is beautiful, but it just didn't fit my decor. I like Southwest country, and I also like a lake. My husband and I lived on a lake for 42 years, and I wanted to look at that lake. So I decided, and Amy called me, that there was a 2-bedroom available overlooking the lake. And within a week, I was ready to move in. I did have the summer to get my place rehabbed, and sold my place and moved last August. And especially with this pandemic we're going through now, it is truly a blessing to be here. We
Sure.
are so well taken care of, and meals and the lake. We could walk around the lake, and my neighbor and I count turtles and frogs every
Oh,
day. So
that's nice.
it's just a wonderful place. I love it, and I love North Point. But everyone here. I would not want a villa because of being single, widow.
Mhm.
But
Sure.
I like
Yeah.
anyway.
We're going to show them all those beautiful pictures too of your apartment building here in just a few minutes as well,
Okay.
Shirley. So
Okay.
thanks so much, Craig. I'm going to skip over you for just a moment. Let's go to Patty O'Neill. So, Patty, how long have you been affiliated with Lakeview Village, and what is it you like about this place?
Well, I've been working with Lakeview for over 20 years. I got associated with Lakeview when my dad decided to move back here and went to look at Lakeview, and he moved in there. And ever since then, I got connected with them doing interior design. I've run my own company as well as working with Lakeview for the 20 years, and I really like the community feel of Lakeview and working with the staff and residents. It's been a fabulous experience for me. And today I'm just going to talk about what to do for you once you've decided to move to Lakeview.
That sounds great. And yeah, you sort of sprinkle the magic dust around there, Patty, when folks move in, which makes it really, really fun. And so, Colette, it is your turn. How long have you been involved with Lakeview, and what do you love about that place?
Well, I have been here at Lakeview for 10 years this year, and I want to have a shout out to my team because they really make it happen. That's one of the things I love about being here is meeting the residents, but also working with my talented sales and marketing team, Amy, Deanna, and Patricia, and Michelle. They are wonderful, and I know many of you have already talked to them. So I'm happy to be here representing Lakeview Village and all we have to offer.
Yes, and we appreciate it. We love this place. It is so beautiful. I don't live there, but I know someday I will. I can feel it, Colette. Every time I do a
You're on
virtual
my
event with
list.
you, I do, which I'm not sure I really introduced myself off the top. I'm Valissa Smith, by the way, and I'm going to play your facilitator today if you haven't already figured that out, which you probably have. Okay, Craig Denny, it's your turn. Tell us how long you've been there and what it is you love about Lakeview Village.
Well, I've been a resident since the middle of March this year, but I've been associated with Lakeview for at least the last 12 years. I've served on the board of directors um, through about, I guess, 4 terms. And so I became very familiar with Lakeview. Actually, my family and I moved to Lenexa about 35 years ago and bought a house about 5 blocks north of here. So as I've wandered through the neighborhoods over the years, I became acquainted with Lakeview even then. So
I knew probably, 10 years ago that this is where I'd move. I didn't know when exactly, but I'm just delighted to be here. And it's just really the same kind of neighborhood feel that I had for the prior 35 years. I just really enjoy Lenexa as a community.
Well, Craig, I'm going to talk a little bit more about you here. We're going to move back over to our presentation so people can see the wonderful pictures that I was talking about just a few minutes ago. But there's lots of things Craig didn't tell you about himself, and I'm going to tell you right now about him. He's been very involved in the Lenexa community. So grateful for all of his participation as a member of the Lenexa Rotary Club and Lenexa Parks and Rec Board. I know you've also been on the board of Lakeview Village, on the board of directors of Lakeview Village for like 11 years. And you and Janet South, as you said, just became residents, and you're in the new Don Julian Villas, which will be exciting for us to see what yours looks like. But it's just neat to see someone who is so involved in our community then moving into the Lakeview Village community. So if you're around Lakeview, look for a street sign called Denny Drive, because that is named after our friend Craig Denny. How cool is that, Craig?
Well, it was unexpected, but it's certainly appreciated.
It's so neat. So, all right, well, we'll let you take it away. Tell us about the Don Julian Villas. That's where you live, right?
That's right. We had the very fortunate timing to make our decision to come to Lakeview just as Lakeview was developing a phase of new villas at the facility. And so we signed up for a single family villa, Janet and I. We're both widows, and so we have been dating about 4 years and decided it was time to do something. We each had a home, and we didn't want to continue to live apart, so this was an ideal solution. With the Don Julian uh, team here at Lakeview, first of all, they are just an exceptionally high quality builder. Um, we were fortunate to be able to select interior finishes and to work with the builder throughout. We made certain choices on interior finishes. You see in this slide our living family room, very open concept. We also, although maybe you can't quite see it, we have the option for a screened in porch that we added. And we also added the finished basement. So we have something on the order of about 2,500 square feet on 2 levels here. And it's just a delightful setting. We really enjoy the freedom, as Stan earlier mentioned, to just be able to lock the door and go somewhere. We've always enjoyed traveling. We hope we have that opportunity again pretty soon. But it's just a wonderful facility. I think the neatest thing about working with the builder was you could be as involved or uninvolved as you want to be. They have a tremendous staff. They work hand in hand with the Lakeview Facilities Department. You could build a new villa. There's one last phase coming online. You could build a new villa almost remotely. They are so caring and understanding of your needs. And the Don Julian even has their own designer for the new construction, and that was an extreme help to us as we had difficulty picking colors, and when it was all done, we just really thought we had a fantastic color palette for our new place. And so we're
Craig,
really enjoying it.
Absolutely. And I think what's really nice about this whole building from the ground up with one of these villas, it's different than doing it when you are building someplace else in your lifetime, because Lakeview Village is like the contractor, right? They're handling all of the scheduling and all of that crazy stuff that goes on over months. They're doing all that for you. Isn't that right?
It is. They take all of the work out of it, really. it was just an absolute joy. And I've heard stories. I've never built a house from the ground up, but I've heard stories from people who have, that it
Yeah.
was either a horrifying experience, but this was just a delightful experience. We had so much fun being involved.
Oh, yeah, I am sure. I know that they have only 7 new lots left for the Don Julian Villas. So if that is something those attending today are interested in, we want to make sure we'll get you some contact information. But that would be a fun experience of building a house if you've never done that before, because yeah, you don't have to deal with all the craziness. I think what your place is 1,800 square feet on the main level, and then you have that lower level, and there's a picture of it again there, of like 1,000 square feet on that level. So it's a big place.
It is. It is. When we look forward to having grandchildren, we between us we have 11 grandkids, and they all live within about 10 miles of us. So we look forward to having lots of family gatherings here. Um, either upstairs in our dining room and family room, or downstairs in this wonderful recreation room.
Oh yeah, and of course that screen and porch, like you mentioned, that is
Oh,
fabulous.
that's fabulous.
That's beautiful home for sure. Craig, thank you so much. We appreciate it. All right, Stan, we're going to have you up next. Stan Stokes, you're at Southridge. And Stan and your wife, Glenda, there, you've lived in those apartments for about 5 years. You're a second generation Lakeview Village resident. You moved in decades after your parents did. I love that. You're retired from a consulting business, and Glenda worked as a medical technologist. And as you told us off the top, you're an active guy. You like to exercise and you like to be out and about, and it's so fun. The part about moving from Tucson, Arizona, I heard, Stan, that you moved from Tucson to Kansas City for our terrific weather. So how's the humidity working for you, Stan?
Well, as you know, it's a dry heat in Arizona. And so we moved up here and we've been able to plump up our skin a little bit, to say the least. So,
I
but
bet.
no, we came from this area. I actually grew up in countryside Mission area, and went off and traveled around various sundry places, but came back here. And then when we moved in, we had looked at alternatives here, both a garden home here, and then we looked at the villas and decided on Southridge, because that sort of fit what we were looking for, that uh, we can just lock the door, go, don't have to be any concerned about it whatsoever. And we enjoy it very much. There's like everywhere here, there's a bunch of great people. Uh, and the apartment itself is very nice. We got to custom redo this apartment, and so it sits in our uh, type of decoration that we have done. And we altered a few things, but not really very much, because we liked it as is. Part of it we like was, and this goes back to when my parents were here. They were for about 17 years. They lived in one of the cottages, and I remember that. And one of the things for us is just the peace of being here, which I believe has been mentioned already. The other factor of this is that where we're here, we're on the 3rd floor. We got 2 floors up to the dining room, 2 floors down to the front lobby where we can walk out or we can greet people or whatever else, and 1 more floor down to the our subterranean garage, which we walk down to and climb in our car and drive out. One of the aspects of that is we got to make sure to check the weather before we do that, because there's a couple of times we've driven out and realized, oh, it's colder or hotter or wetter or something than what we anticipated. So
Sure.
we do need to look out the window and have some idea what we're doing on that. We do, one of the features that we did like here is to have the washer dryer right in here. Makes it easy, although we don't have to do on any of our flat laundry. One of the things, my wife is very careful about her use of 4-letter words. I'm not as careful, but anyway, she does not like cook, clean, or wash. And the clean and the clean is KLEN. So yes, that's a 4-letter word also.
And this is not a picture of the washing machine. This is a picture of the pool.
Yeah, and this is one of my areas of delight, which is not in this building. It's over in Heritage, and it's a great pool. I go over and swim laps 2 to 3 times a week and enjoy it. I actually have gained some new friends over there, and we meet. Sometimes we schedule our time there together, and it's just great. As far as a fitness room, we have a great fitness room over there at Heritage also, but we have one right here in Southridge, and
Nice.
this one is actually about 100 feet down the hall from us on the 3rd floor. So for everybody, it's about halfway in between. You go up a floor or 2 or down a floor or 2,
Sure.
and you can get to it. And as well as the card rooms, all the other things. My wife plays a lot of bridge, and so they spend a lot of time out in some of the joint areas where they play cards.
Hey, Stan, I think it'd be great to talk about the fact that you have used their rehabilitation services, haven't you?
Yes, I sure have. I had one knee replaced in Tucson, got up here, and the other knee started talking to me, and so I got that replaced. And one of the one of the many nice features was that when I came back here, I could stay in the apartment. The rehab people would come over to my apartment, do some rehab on my knee for the first couple of weeks, and then after that, I went, well, it's a very short 5-minute walk over to Heritage to the rehab over there and got it done over there. And there
Nice.
again, this is where I could walk over or could take the bus. As I tell the bus people, I'm their foul weather friend. It's very, very seldom do I ride the bus, but when I do, it's usually foul weather.
Sure. But you love apartment living, don't you?
Yes, we do. We actually went from, like Greg was talking about, 3,700 square feet down to about 1,200 square feet. So it was considerably less than that, but we had planned ahead of time to do the resizing or downsizing, whatever you want to call it. And that helped tremendously to get this down. We're still doing some, we're still going through pictures and a lot of things like that, which we now have the time to do. When you're moving from outside of Kansas City and the house is gone and you got a few hundred miles in between, you have to make some decisions. And that's what we did between our kids and
Sure.
us. And it worked out very, very well. We moved in with too much, which is typical.
Yeah.
And we do have the storage areas. They had pretty well packed. We're starting to get through some of that.
Nice.
But anyway, most of the things are accommodated. The staff has just been tremendous. One of the things that I have always enjoyed doing at various houses we've lived at, and here again have built or been part of building multiple houses, was I love putting together the landscaping, all of that, but I do not like maintaining it.
Oh, yeah.
And when we were in Tucson, we had a pool, and that takes a lot of maintenance. So it's sort of gotten to the point of I'm tired of all the maintenance stuff. Let's let somebody else take care of it. The staff here does that. We can put in a work order, and it's usually handled just very, very quickly, or as depending upon how urgent it really is.
Yeah, that's terrific. I put in this picture of the dining room, these couple of pictures here, because I know when we are not in the situation we're in right now, that this is typically a very full, busy place happening there at Southridge. And you mentioned Glenda's 4-letter word, cook. She doesn't want to do
Correct.
that.
And this is one of my favorite places also. I mean, I'm an eager eater. So yeah.
That's so great. Well, Stan, thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing with us your experience of living at Southridge apartment building. So up next, we have Shirley Stuckey, and Shirley is a resident of North Point. Shirley, I know, has only lived there for about a year. She has a couple of sons. She's got 6 grandchildren. I'm jealous. She enjoys quilting. And actually, you're a volunteer there at the Whatnot shop, right? At Lakeview Village. Shirley, tell us about your experience at North Point.
Yes, I volunteer as a cashier over at the Whatnot Shop, which is a fun place to be, but unfortunately it's closed now.
Yeah.
And they just have things out in the hallway. So I did go over and shop yesterday and got a couple of things
Nice.
that they had out in the hallway. But anyway, it's a fun place to be and such nice people to work with. And I'll be so glad when all this pandemic is over and we can get back to normal again. But
Sure. I
it's
love this picture of you, Shirley. I love it because of, I mean, you look so happy, but that lake behind you, I mean, it's just beautiful. It's
that
serene, really.
that's my view. I look out and we have, everybody talks about gorgeous sunsets, but we have gorgeous sunrises. I've got such beautiful sunrises that when I moved in last fall, that were just coming across the lake. It was just gorgeous. So I enjoy that. That's my view from my, I'm really on the 3rd floor. So this is a little higher. This is, I think, 5th floor, but I'm on the 3rd floor and I look right out from the fountain. And my neighbors and I, one thing we've been able to do with this pandemic and being quarantined for a while and had to stay just in our area, we would walk around that lake several times. I think 3 times around is a mile. And we would count all of our turtles and we would count our frogs
Oh,
and geese and ducks and herons, lots of birds. It's just a beautiful, peaceful place to live. And I sit out on my balcony in the afternoon when the sun is in the west and just enjoy watching people walk around the lake. And of course, it's more open now and we can walk around the campus, which is nice. And fun thing the other day, they brought the Good Humor ice cream truck around for us to go out.
nice.
Oh, that was so fun. Everybody really enjoyed that. They
So,
just take such good care of us here.
yes, they do. So on those rainy days, though, you're in here, you're inside.
Well, I can be out on my balcony
Well,
if it
that's
isn't, the wind
true.
isn't blowing because it's got an overhang. It's an 8 by 18 balcony and with an overhang. So if it isn't windy and the wind blowing in, but yeah, we can be inside.
And so tell us about apartment living. How is that working out for you, Shirley?
For me, being a widow, it's wonderful. I think if my husband were still alive, we would be in a villa or a fourplex or a duplex. It would be, to me, it would be rather small for 2 people. For me, I use 1 bedroom as an office and sewing room. And, but for me, it's wonderful. I enjoy it. It's plenty of room for me. And I go down to the community room and we work puzzles and play cards. And
Sure.
so, no, I love the apartment for myself. And that's my garden.
Oh, wow. So talk to us about this because you were sharing this with me the other day, and I don't know why I didn't know this about Lakeview Village. So each one of those belongs to a resident? Is that how that
Yes,
works?
yes, they assign each one of those raised beds. And I have 3 tomato plants. And in fact, I think that's mine. You can see in the background there. And a lot of cucumber vines that are growing up and I've picked cucumbers and tomatoes already. And one of the gardeners told me that they had picked 100 and some cucumbers and taken over to Heritage to give away to people. But it's just a fun, relaxing place. And there's some that just have flowers. They're beautiful flowers,
Hmm.
but it's just a really, my husband and I were always big gardeners. And I thought when I moved, I thought, well, that's going to be it. But I came here and I'm started in gardening again.
Oh, that is so, so
And
fun.
that's one thing, my neighbor that I walk with, we walk up in the evening and water the garden and pick and talk to people and about it. It's round trip. We can get up there and back to North Point in about 25 minutes.
Okay.
Leisurely walking. So it's not
Yeah.
far and it's a
No.
good walk, good exercise. And as Stan said, they're right. He's in South Ridge, which is right. You see the building in the background and that's right next. They're just a few minutes away from that. So,
Oh, right.
but we've got a longer walk and it gives us a little more exercise.
Sure, that's not a bad thing. And then
No.
you also talked about the Whatnot shop. That's a photo, of course, before the pandemic when we
Right,
could all be close together without masks on. But what a
right.
fun shop that. So what are some of the things that are in there?
Everything.
Really?
Everything. When people move in and downsize, uh, they donate to the Whatnot shop,
Oh,
and
perfect.
the things that are not, you know, would not be sellable. And there's also a furniture place over on the other side of the building where they sell
Oh,
furniture
very
and
good.
clothes and dishes and pots and pans and bedding and puzzles, and it's just such a fun place. And I really hope they get this open again soon for the residents, because we have so many residents and so many of the staff come in and shop there. It's just amazing. And I just hope they open it again soon.
Yeah.
I know it'll be a while before we can have outsiders come in, but this is such a
Sure.
fun place.
That's so well, of course, I should have known Whatnot shop. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
Shirley Stuckey, thank you so, so much. We
you're
appreciate you
welcome.
sharing
You're
with us
welcome.
today.
Thank you.
Next up, we have this lovely lady, Patty O'Neill of O'Neill's Originals, and she's the one who gets to sprinkle all the magic dust on everything and make everybody's place look amazing. Patty has been doing this for many years, and you mentioned this, you're connected to Lakeview Village because your dad used to live there. So how are you today, Patty?
I'm great. Thanks, Felissa, and
You
thanks for
bet.
including me in this.
You bet. We've got a couple of pictures here of some spaces that you have designed.
Yes, and I think I have the best job of anybody. Uh, when I first started contracting with Lakeview in 2000, I knew very little about it, and I've enjoyed learning and growing right along with the campus and the employees, and it's wonderful. I have been very fortunate to be involved in many aspects of design, and the list continues to grow. This includes the recently remodeled Southridge dining room that is currently closed, all the model homes on campus, which if you've toured Lakeview with a marketing representative, you you would have seen some of the models that I've designed. And I've worked on, we're updating cottage hallways currently, and there's always doing something around campus, either improving, updating, or adding new spaces. And working with the talented and creative Lakeview Village staff is wonderful. But the best part of all is working with our future residents at Lakeview Village. The villas are the one area that I don't work with the new residents, but the usual process for what I do with the new residents is we begin by scheduling a walkthrough, and we will meet at your future home with a remodeler, and usually that's the professional who will be personally remodeling your home, the moving coordinator, Ashley, and myself. And what we will do is discuss what Lakeview is including in your personal renovation package and answer any questions you have regarding this, what upgrades you might want to make. Um, at this time, you can also ask if you need additional electrical outlets, where lighting or fans can be placed, or if something can be changed. And our remodelers do a great job and can do almost anything you want. The next step is the best part, design time. This is where the fun begins. After we've completed our time at your future residence, we move on directly to the Lakeview Village Design Center in the Southridge building. And here we'll be selecting whatever is needed to complete the renovation of your new home. We have an entire room that is full of products and materials dedicated to completing this. It has all the options and upgrades for you to select from. And each new resident has their own unique plan. And what can you do to get the most out of this appointment? You should bring with you anything that you want to work with for your new home, maybe fabric or an arm cover from a favorite piece of furniture that you'd like to move here, paint swatches of colors you like, or a picture of a special piece of art or a rug. We cover a lot at this one appointment, but we have it set up exclusively for this purpose, and the process moves smoothly. And then when we complete this appointment, you know exactly what you're getting in your new home. After you've made your choices, I like to take a picture of all your selections together so that you can refer back to it on your journey to moving day. Lakeview pays for this 3 hours of my time for you, which is really very nice. If you need any additional time with me before or after you move in, you can reach out and we'll set up an appointment. And while we're together, we can also discuss your floor plan, your furniture, how to decide what you want to bring. And I really encourage you to think outside of the box. Now is a great time to repurpose and make the most out of what you have. And I also like to suggest to you to consider waiting before purchasing new furniture in some cases. Downsizing and moving has its own unique opportunities, and what you may think you need now may be different once you get here and realize what changes retirement living brings. Some people are surprised. These are all things I encourage you to ask me about while we're together. After this appointment, you really get moving. You will start organizing and purging and packing. And after our meeting, I will submit the paperwork to the facilities department. They will then look at the schedule, gather any information, check on any pricing on upgrades, and get back with you. This gives you answers to questions and lets you decide what you may or may not want to move forward with if there are any upgrades. Sometime after this, Ashley, the move-in coordinator, will be in touch with you to set a move-in date. So I'm Patty O'Neill with O'Neill Originals.
Absolutely. It has to be such a fun process because I think so many of us have things that are near and dear to our hearts in terms of a chair or, my mother's light fixture that I've had my whole life that I always keep with me. But to be able to bring those in and then have somebody professional like you to be able to help us work that into our new plan, what a special treat that is. And the fact that Lakeview will handle or take care of the first 3 hours, it's a complimentary first 3 hours with you. And I bet you get a lot of done in 3 hours, don't you, Patty?
We do. We cover a lot of territory. It's a lot of fun. And like I said, I feel like I'm the lucky one.
Fantastic. All right. Well, Patty, thank you so much. There's that dining area again that you were talking about. I just love to show off all the spaces that you have.
Yeah.
So thanks so much. We appreciate it. Up now is Colette Poncho, and Colette she is the director of sales and marketing at Lakeview Village. Colette has she is so believes in this industry. She's been around it for 20 years. She has her master's of science in social gerontology, and this is truly Colette's passion in this particular industry. And so Colette, if you could turn on your microphone. So I don't know. Well, Colette is not on. So you know what? I'll go through Colette's slides. How's that? I know that we've been in touch with her for a long time, and oh, she's coming on. She's getting back on this is one of those things, the fact that we're on the internet, that you just never know what can happen. So here she is now. Ta-da, Colette, you've joined us back online. I'll let you take it away. Colette, do you need to unmute your mic? I don't know. She's still having a little bit of trouble. Well, Lakeview Village, I know, has been extremely diligent about the health concerns that have been taking place over the last several months. They have followed protocol extensively. They are currently, which is the good point, and some of you folks have alluded to that, some of the presenters, that the community is slowly beginning to open back up, that they're allowing folks to walk around with a mask on and that sort of thing, which means that if you are interested in touring one of the independent living apartments or villas or cottages or whatever, that you can do that now. They of course take a lot of precaution. They will take your temperature. They will make sure that everybody's feeling okay, that they're not showing any signs at all of COVID, and we can make this move happen for you during this time as well. And I know Colette will want to talk a little bit about that as soon as she gets back online here. But it is very, very possible for you to move into retirement living if that in fact is something that you want to do. I love how
Melissa,
long,
can you hear me
yeah,
now?
yay, we can hear you, Colette.
Okay, great.
I don't know if I did it justice, the things that I was sharing, but I was trying to let him know that you guys have been very cautious during the pandemic to keep everybody safe, and you're slowly opening things back up and even doing tours and independent living.
That is true. That is true. Thank you for that intro, because, there is a lot of concern from people who want to stay safe, and we also share that concern. So we even have put together a chart here in a moment that shows you the great lengths that we have gone to since, and this is as of June 30th. How many days we have been under incident command, meaning the whole organization, all the directors and the executive team and all the frontline workers are focused on one thing, and that is keeping our residents safe. Anyone who is coming to campus, whether it's a vendor, for example, who needs to be here. So look at these big numbers, you all. I mean, just the number of meals that were delivered to residents' homes, and that was at the end of June. So this doesn't even count July. And our residents were referring to the convenience of living here. So you can see we're delivering groceries and prescriptions, and the number of people that are getting screened every day, really since early March, is staggering, 53,000 people. And so the fact that we also are now intensively doing COVID testing on residents as needed, and also people who work here, our associates. And we've been very fortunate that that has been a very low number. And when we have discovered a positive case, those folks have been quarantined and returned back when possible to their homes or to their jobs. So this is just a glimpse of kind of what we're doing here at Lakeview right now. So next we are looking at, really, for those of you who have not been to Lakeview before, many of you have, but to give you some background, we are a nonprofit organization, and we have a long track record of success since 1964. And you can see some of our residents here enjoying riding bikes on campus. I passed some of them this morning. And down below, you see one of our cottages on Mullen Road. This is a fourplex. And of our 700 residents, I know the folks who live in these fourplexes and duplexes really enjoy having a garage and a basement and a place to garden. And the other folks who live in different floor plans, you'll see some of the residents here. And this is another cottage shot. And because we are a nonprofit, our revenues go right back into the campus. We do spend a lot of time and money keeping things fresh and up to date. So there's no grass growing under our feet here at Lakeview. And our local board of directors has done a terrific job, and Craig served on that board a long time. And our on-site team is also very good and experienced as well. So many of our residents that you've heard from talk about what they like to do when we can open our doors to those activities again. But we do a very good job, I think, of listening to residents and what they want. So we're not just playing bingo all day. We are truly co-creating those activities with the residents so that their hobbies are reflected in our offerings. And our campus is a great place to walk, especially if you have dogs. And one of our residents said, I really like my home. I have an apartment here with my wife, but I have a 100-acre backyard. And he put that phrase out there, and it's so true. And as far as getting around, we have two major highways close by. And, excuse me, Lenexa City Center is new. Oak Park Mall has always been there and is nice and close by. And the fact that our buildings are built out of concrete and steel means that if you have not lived in an apartment for a while, you'll like the fact that it's nice and quiet. Another big feature of Lakeview is really our healthcare services. And we have very good rehab here with about 60 rehab experts. And here is one working with one of our residents. So even if you don't live on our campus, you can take advantage of our inpatient rehab, or as Stan did, our outpatient rehab. So our full range of services, and you see here on the bottom, of your screen is our assisted living, and it's a beautiful space. It was built about 10 years ago. And we also have long-term nursing care as part of our prepaid life care program, which we will go into much more detail, not today, but when you come and visit us and talk to Michelle, Deanna, Amy, or myself, we'll give you all the details about why life care is terrific. So here now we have one of our exciting new programs we're doing is building more villas. Now it's not exactly new. We've been doing it for about 12 years with Don Julian, but each time we start a phase, you know, we get excited again. And we have this next phase, which is 7 more villas. And I honestly don't know if we will be building any after this. We do expect this to be our last phase of villas that look like this. So if you are wanting to have a villa that you can customize with the finishes, be a good time to really think about coming in and talking with us. So this is a duplex. The other one you saw was a single family home, and we will have both in this next phase of villas, ranging from, as you see here, 1,600 to a little over 1,860 square feet. We have named our floor plans after great cities in Europe. And this Geneva actually is a one of kind that we may not build again. So a limited time, folks, we are offering a promotion on the first 2 of these 7 villas. To commit, we'll get a very nice promotion. So please ask us about that. And you can see some of the features. And these villas, we've taken pictures of various sizes of villas around campus. Some have 1 car garage, some 2. All of them have great landscaping and very high-end finishes, as well as a possible basement finish.
Well, they are definitely beautiful spaces, Colette, and how fun to be around such a vibrant community where change is happening and new places are being built. And I bet it's exciting going to work every day to see the latest on how things are progressing.
You know, part of my fun is when we knock an old building down. I know that sounds a little destructive, but I always enjoy that. And then seeing the new one go up is equally exciting.
Oh, I'm sure. You know, we talked so much about sort of the space and the floor plans, and some of the residents have talked a lot about how much it means for them to be in a community with other folks. But when it comes right down to it, it really is about the neighbors. It's finding new friends, it's experiencing your neighbors. And in fact, this is a very short 30-second video that can kind of give you a few more pictures of what this place is all about. And that's the perfect time there with that picture to ask Cynthia's question. So Colette, I think this is you're probably the best one to answer this.
All right.
But Cynthia wants to know, do residents fish in the lake? Do they catch fish? Is someone actually responsible for managing the lake so that the fishing is good? How does that work?
Well, thank you, Cynthia, for that question. We do have quite a few fishermen who catch fish, and they do sometimes put them back or let them go. Other times they will keep them. And we do have our facilities department who manages the lake. And we just actually drained one of our largest lake and rebuilt some of the walls around. And now we have restocked that lake. So there's many fish to be had here at Lakeview for you fishermen and fisherwomen.
That is so fun. That is so fun. And just the beauty of the lake, of course, as we've talked about quite a bit. Shirley, a question for you about the gardening. So are the gardeners then responsible for everything to do with that particular a lot of gardening, or I mean, from putting in new dirt to fertilizing to watering? How does that work? Or is it more like you get to decide what goes in it and somebody does it for you? We're just
Well,
curious.
this is my first year, of course, but you're kind of responsible or can make the decisions for your own garden. I personally will do it different next year because I have mine way too full. I put more in it than I should have. But I know I have seen some up there that have come over from the gardens, from the other centers, that there's a couple, 3 guys that are kind of stay up there all the time. They have gardens and they just love it up there. And I have seen them help them with
Oh,
their garden.
nice. Oh,
Uh,
that's nice.
yeah, they do help them. But I think you kind of have to be responsible for your own garden. And you can make the decisions and everything, but I'm sure if you want to have some tomatoes or some plants or some flowers put in, there would always be a volunteer that would help you with that if you got in touch with them.
That is terrific. Colette, here is a question for you from Dawn, wanting to understand, and I know we're not really focused on the finances today, but wanting to understand if there are various ways that that this can be financed, whether it's a villa or an apartment or a cottage.
All right, thank you for that question. So Lakeview has dozens of different floor plans, and we have 3 different pricing options. We have a traditional life care plan, which means you get unlimited long-term care. And then there's a 75% life care plan, but it has a return of investment. And then there's a 75% without the life care for those folks who have excellent long-term care insurance. So the conversation about what things cost is really one I'd love to handle when you come in to see us. But I can say that we will ask questions like, do you own a home? And then oftentimes people will use the entry fee, their home sale to pay for the entrance fee. And that means that they will not have to encroach upon any of the other estate assets in doing so. So getting an unlimited long-term care plan here is a very good deal. And the monthly service fee is based on the size of the home you pick.
Fabulous. Okay, that's very helpful. Well, we would love to have all of you attending today as a new neighbor at Lakeview Village. And we would hope that you will look for an email from us in the next day or so with today's presentation. And if you haven't submitted your question or you think of a question later, we would love to answer that question for you. And I'm going to give you a phone number here in just a minute that you can call to get your questions answered. So I think I said it earlier, but I'll say it again, that Lakeview Village is open for in-person tours of our independent living residences. And this is the phone number to call if you'd like to schedule your personal tour. It is 913-744-2459. 913-744-2459. And if living in a senior living community is part of your life plan, we can safely make that happen for you at Lakeview Village. Well, thank you for joining us for the virtual event today. And again, please look for that follow-up email from Lakeview Village in the next day or so. It's going to have information. It'll have this particular presentation as well. We also have another virtual event that's coming up in late August, and it's on mental well-being and dealing with change from a local psychologist. And I don't know about you, but boy, has COVID-19 tested my mental capacity, that is for sure. And so look for that invitation. It'll be coming out in a few weeks. And most of all, we just hope you have a great day. And we thank you so much for joining us. And we want you to stay well. We want you to stay cool this summer. And we really hope to see you soon at Lakeview Village. Have a great day.